Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 5th episode of the Diversity BW Hotelier GM Show Series Season 3. While I log in from a cold and gloomy New Delhi in the thick of winters, I have friends logging in from Bangalore, Chennai, and Kochi. Kochi, the gentleman happens to be in Kochi. Far more sunnier than we are here in Delhi. We could grab some sun from there. But this is another great evening, a great show that we have. Without much ado, let me bring in my good friend from Chennai, ZUBIN SONGADWALA, who's the Vice President, South and East, ITC Hotels. Welcome to the show, ZUBIN.
Thank you.
All right. He will anchor the evening. He'll anchor the show. Next in is SANJAY GUPTA, who's the Cluster General Manager, Sheraton Grand, Bengaluru, Whitefield, and Convention Center, and more. Like I said, he's in Kochi. He's logging in from there. Welcome to the show, Sanjay.
Thank you very much, Bhuvi. Thank you for inviting us to the show.
Pleasure. Next in is Ronan. FEARON, he's the General Manager of the JW Marriott Bangalore Prestige GOLFSHIRE Resort and Spa. Welcome to the show, Ronan.
Thank you very much, BUSINESS. Nice to be here.
Pleasure. Next in is SANDEEP JOHRI, who's the General Manager of the NOVOTEL and IBIS Bangalore Outer Ring Road. Welcome to the show, Sandeep.
Thanks, Bhuvi. Thanks for having us.
And now the two ladies. SITA LEKSHMI, who's the General Manager of the Renaissance Bangalore Racecourse Road Hotel. Welcome to the show, SITA.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Pleasure to be here.
Welcome. And last but not the least, my first show with her, SABRINA Day, who's the General Manager of the ITC WINDSOR in Bangalore. Welcome to the show, Sabrina.
Namaste, Mr. Khanna. Thank you so much. Absolutely delighted to be here.
So nice to have you here. And thank you all for gracing the platform and enriching the show. The BW Hotelier GM Show series is well into its 3rd season. We've done well. The numbers are more than decent. In fact, numbers are very good. It's something that my team should be proud of. More than anything else, the objective of the show going virtual is to bring in people from all corners of the city, of the country, without taking their time away from work, without getting them onto flights, moving from one city to another, and increasing the reach. This also gives us an opportunity to take the show to an audience which would not make it otherwise if it was physical. And the message, this industry needs to celebrate what it's doing, not just the business, the careers and livelihood it's offering to all the people through direct and indirect employment. And through this show, we will showcase this industry in its right colors. Let me begin the show, Zubin, if I may, by throwing my first question to you. All right, Zubin, tell me, with South India being a hub for diverse tribal segments from IT-driven businesses to leisure, tourism, in both coastal and heritage destinations, how do hotels in the region maintain a balance between catering to these vastly different markets while achieving operational excellence? That's a long question, but I'd let the answer come through you. Thank you.
So let me first of all start by saying hello, a warm welcome to everybody, and thanks for having me on the show again, Bhuvi. This initiative started 3 years ago when we were in the throes of a pandemic, and it was more of a initiative that was done for all of us to get together, encourage each other, and keep ourselves going. But I think now we have it's reached a level of maturity where it's become a sharing of ideas, sharing of thoughts, and a knowledge sharing platform of not just for the participants here, but for across the industry for those who are logging in. So well done. As far as your question is concerned, you specifically mentioned and alluded upon the point about leisure and business travel being predominant in this area. And I think what's happened, and that's one of the biggest developments that happened in our industry in the last few years, that the lines between leisure and business travel have blurred. We have all learned and understood, and all sorts of new words came about, leisure travel and workations, etc., etc. So we have come to realize somewhere that at the end of the day, regardless of what that person is traveling for, of course, you need to definitely customize the requirements of the individual, customize to the requirements of the individual. But no matter what that person is traveling for, no matter what it is, the ethos of hospitality remains the same, whether it is for leisure or whether it is for business. So at the end of the day, it is making that customer feel special, giving him what it is that he's looking for. If he's there for leisure, to ensure that we are making and creating special moments for him and his people who are traveling with him, his significant other and family, etc. And when I say he, I don't mean to have any gender biases, but generically referring to the traveler. And creating special memorable moments. And at the same time, if the person is a business traveler, how do you ensure and what is it that you can do to enable the purpose of his travel? And that is essentially business, and to make sure that what he is there to achieve, you are not an impediment in any way as a hospitality service provider. So a person could be traveling for any reason. It's become a kind of reason agnostic. A person could be traveling for business to a remote leisure destination as well, because he wants to get away from the hustle bustle and continue his business transactions in that place. Or he could be in a business destination in the heart of a city, wanting to take a break from his daily routine and come and check into your hotel for a little break, even though it may be in a business hotel. So, and this is not just for the South, but it's across the country. These lines are now blurred. So, yeah, that's the way I would say it. There's no one way of putting it.
Thank you, Zubin. You're absolutely right. Yes, we've come a long way. Now, let me just, why don't I make the easier way out and hand over the show to you and take a back seat and watch from the flanks.
Thank you. Thank you. So, yeah, again, as usual, you've put together a great bunch of hospitality professionals across hotels, across different types of leisure and business hotels, as it were. Again, cluster and general manager roles too. So I think the first one I would put to Sanjay. Sanjay is the general manager at the Sheraton Grand Bengaluru Whitefield Convention Center, and more as well, as was said. Currently, he's sitting out of Cochin and dealing with an event that's happening there as well. And just before the event, we're told that the hotel that he's going to stay in doesn't have a room for him. So he's flying back tonight. So those are the challenges that we face as cluster managers. But I would like you to share your perspective as a cluster and a cluster role with multiple properties. How do you ensure consistency of operational excellence across all these different diverse formats, be it geographies, be it cities, etc.? Maybe I could take a few tips on that in my role as well.
No, Zubin, thank you so very much. Yes, I'm sitting out of sunny Kochi and flying back tonight for sure. But leaving that aside, I think either general manager or cluster general manager, I think the challenges are same, and the operational excellence which you bring on the table is absolutely same. There is a slight difference here and there. So before even I start, let me tell you, I look after all the 3 hotels which I look after are the Marriott international brands, which makes it easy and which makes it seamless. Okay, the difference are that these are 3 different brands. One is Sheraton, one is Tribute, and the other soon to open is the Marriott Executive Apartment at the UB City. It's a 200-room hotel coming up right on the UB City plinth. So I think leaving everything the same, what is really very, very important is that I think bringing up a strong and a winning team is really very important for the consistency of operation. And it definitely drives operation excellence, And other part is that all our brands follow very strong brand guidelines, brand design, brand standard. I think that is really very important for all of us working in these hotels to understand. So my job is really very simple to make sure 100% we are on brand hotel, the Sheraton Grand Whitefield Hotel and Convention Center in Bangalore, and make sure the director of operations or the hotel manager or the general manager who I work with also are very, very consistent. So one is doing it yourself in the hotel. One is guiding them to do together, right? And I think in all the hotels which we manage brings really a very, very good consistency. Of course, a robust training program. Another very important thing is that we try to recruit amongst our 165 Marriott hotel by giving them not only growth to people, but they understand our culture. And the moment you understand a company's culture, it really becomes very, very easy. So definitely we understand our brand standard, we understand our guidelines, we understand our philosophy.
You're just saying that following certain templates probably helps you better in managing clusters that much better.
Yes, for sure.
That's fabulous.
And Zubin, one more thing which I wanted to add over here, and the last bit is that since I'm a cluster general manager, it's not possible for me. I definitely can guide the teams, but clustering the department heads, like human resource director of mine is clustered to the other two hotels, or maybe the revenue management team or the sales and marketing team actually helps. And that gives us consistency, and that definitely leads to operation excellence.
Great. Sanjay, thanks. Moving to another Marriott brand, the JW Marriott Bangalore Prestige GOLFSHIRE. Ronan, first of all, welcome. Welcome to Bangalore, a bit late, I know. But to welcome you, didn't have a chance to meet earlier. You run luxury resort operations pretty much in the city. The way Bangalore is growing, your location is pretty much now in the city. But nevertheless, how is it that you would ensure smooth operations to create a differentiated experience in a resort style kind of a ambience and property, which is in this tech driven city? Because again, your kind of diverse clientele would have very different expectations when they come to your hotel. Have you found that to be a challenge, and how is it that you manage those expectations of those clients and your day-to-day operations?
Very good, Zubin. Thank you very much, and nice to be here with everybody as well. The old friends and new friends here, which is good. So yeah, I run a luxury resort that's in Bangalore, but it's also on the very outskirts of Bangalore. And I often say to people that running this resort in this tech-driven city of Bangalore it's a bit like managing your way through a traffic jam on the outer ring road, right? You need a strategy, you need patience, and when you see an opportunity to advance, you pounce. And at the JW Marriott, I think it's really about finding these opportunities, and it's the perfect balance between providing an escape from the chaos of the city and then meeting and exceeding the expectations of our tech-savvy guests who are looking for that luxury experience. I think we like to ensure that our focus surrounds making the guest experience as personal as possible. I think there are three big trends that we're seeing in luxury space at the moment. The first one is that we're really entering the era of truly personal experiences. There is a massive element or a massive contribution about technology. And there's also this big focus of obviously on sustainability. But if I just come to the personalization part, which is what I feel we specialize in, it's very important that we understand the individual preferences, the purpose of their visit, and their dietary requirements, the preferred spa treatment, the preferred tea time on the golf course, tailored amenities, food preferences for themselves, for their children, for their dogs and cats. We have a lot to offer. So we aim to ensure that every guest gets to feel present, that they are there, they are present there, they can stay in the moment. And just to give you an example of something that we do, we've just recently launched in about September, October last year, was we've partnered with Flamingo Estate, which is a US-based fragrance company. They're a holistic wellness company, and they've curated a scent for our lobby. They've created candles, and they've created a soundtrack, so that when you walk into a JW Marriott, especially from the chaos of Bangalore, that you arrive in and you already know your senses have been awakened to the fact that you're not in this chaos of the city anymore.
Is this again a JW brand standard, or is it your hotel that has done it exclusively?
It's a JW brand standard.
Okay, so we just go back to
JW
what Sanjay said. Brand standards, following the brand standard, and working towards an experience which guests can relate to from one hotel to another. That's fabulous.
True.
Very well done. So from cluster to individual luxury resort, and now to out and out, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sandeep, but I would imagine that your hotels, the Novotel and IBIS Bangalore, are predominantly a business hotel, almost 526 keys, I think, between the two hotels. What's, I think, so unique and different about what your challenge would be, and that's the perception that one gets from the outside. Two different brands under the same roof, literally, I mean, in the same complex, as it were. So again, dual brand, do you see synergies? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages that you would have having these two distinct brands which have very distinct, should I say, brand identities as well? How is it that you navigate this, Sandeep?
Well, Zubin, first, hello to you, because I'm meeting you for the first time.
That's right.
Apart from the panel above.
But we all know each other.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, and I'm glad Ronan mentioned ORR in his short speech, and that's what ORR does to Bangalore. Happy to see Sita Lakshmi there. I couldn't manage a farewell for her when she left ORR. So Sita, that's due. But happy to see all of you here. A quick thing before Bhuvi raises one hand and then the second one. This question is can have a very, very long answer. I try to keep it crisp. Yes, I mean, you're right. I run a hotel complex which is from a guest perspective, two different hotel, which is IBIS, which is of 311 rooms, and Novotel of 215. This hotel opened in 2012, and if I understand right, I do not think, I mean, this would be a first hotel in the country which came up with a concept of complex with two hotels. Accor actually has been doing this well. This is one of our three complex property. One is in your city in Chennai, and one where Bhuvi sits, a huge Pullman and Novotel complex. So we have been doing this, and we've been doing this fairly well. And of course, we've been replicating this because there are a lot of advantages, of course, that it comes with. The first one, the foremost one, and size matters. 526 rooms and on ORR is a big inventory to have. So nobody can ignore us. I mean, we become an unavoidable partner for everybody who has to do business on ORR. So that's a huge advantage. Also, this gives me an advantage of have a varied business mix. I am able to cater to a various price point from when I talk about IBIS to Novotel. So again, I can cater to a wide mix of bookers, corporates, so that gives me a huge business advantage. From a guest perspective, something which has a flip side as well. Guests who are at IBIS also rub shoulder with Novotel, so they can utilize the facilities, which is the pool, the spa, the specialty restaurant. So that IBIS becomes a little more of an elevated IBIS. So that's a huge advantage for us to be able to sell IBIS. I mean, you know how IBIS as a product is. But the most important point why this concept comes up and why is it being replicated all over is the operational efficiency. I mean, it's hugely profitable because it is two face and one heart. Our back offices are common. We have shared resources in terms of space and people. So it's a hugely advantageous position when it comes to profitability and the returns to the owners and investors. So of course, I mean, that works. I mean, on the flip side of it, just a quick I mean, of course, the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. But then you also have, I mean, ORR is a very typical market, which is a weekday market. I mean, you have long weekends, you have festivals. So the huge inventory, which is an advantage, becomes a disadvantage. My MPI is always under stress with the inventory that I have.
Weekday, weekend, always. Yeah, I'm sure.
And
tell me this year said this is the third such model that you're doing in India. Is this an international model that is followed by the brand?
Yes. It's an
Okay, so obviously something is working. That's why they follow it and do it. So well done. Good. That's really great, and such a fabulous inventory in a city like Bangalore is always something, and in that location always is something that works and is great. And I've just come to realize, apart from Sandeep, all the other panelists are all Marriott brands. So Sandeep, don't worry, I won't let you feel too left out here. Huh? Coming to Sita now. So Sita, would I say, am I correct in saying that probably you're the youngest and newest kid on the block as far as hotels is concerned among all of us here? Relatively.
I'll say yes to that, especially since you said youngest.
Oh, well, okay.
I hope that's true.
I'm referring to the hotel, not just you, but you, of course, as well, I'm sure. Though there may be some tough competition from the next panelists that you may have. So, Sita, Renaissance in the heart of the city, literally, and this is at the race course, am I right? Such an iconic structure and building. It's a beautiful photograph, I must say. You've really done justice to your property. You're right there. I mean, in the city, and you've entered a market which has been so well established, especially that micro market that you're operating in with the Taj West End and the Lalit and the ITC Windsor around. So, what is it that you have done to focus on, discovery and experiences? How do you operationalize this brand philosophy in a city like Bangalore, and especially in that geography that you're operating in?
Okay, so thank you for asking me this question. It brings me to the three things that I truly believe in our company and as a hotelier. And those three key points are the Marriott Bonvoy, the power of loyalty, and the second is the brand image, that irrespective of which brand that we're working for, the clarity that Marriott International gives us for each of our brand, because we have 31 plus brands under Marriott's umbrella, but the clarity that the brand gives you and the opportunity that all of us have to embody that brand is something that sets us apart. And the last thing is, of course, irrespective of brand, the warmth that we as hoteliers carry, as a team carry, because I always say that people breathe life into buildings. Now, talking about Renaissance as a hotel, as a brand, yes, it has a theme of spontaneous discovery. It's a very playful lifestyle brand, and it's mostly off script. So we have very interesting rituals that we use to connect our guests with local community and also about exploring the city around us. Our location right next to the Bangalore Turf Club is definitely a key factor, because not only that it gives us great views from our rooms, but also opportunities, business opportunities, it creates. So we as a team are very conscious that we live by the brand values, which is indigenous, independent, and intriguing. So we try to create experiences that generate curiosity. Something interesting that I can share with you is about the R bar. Our bar is called R bar, and the R bar rituals that we do, which is mostly using native ingredients and creating our own cocktail. So we have a Capi Negroni and a Jack Colada. So those are things that you don't find in a classic cocktails or a regular classic bar. Then we find talent, the artists from local community who will come and play at our bar or create a pop-up for the weekend. These are some things that we do to stay connected to our community and also stay true to the brand essence of Renaissance.
Good. So now I'm not going to get into age demographics because I think that's a slippery slope to go down. But the next hotel actually is the hotel, I'm saying, is probably the oldest and the most heritage and iconic property in Bangalore that we are talking about, the ITC Windsor. So Sabrina, I don't know if you're aware, I don't know if I ever mentioned it to you, that's the hotel I started my career in more than 30 years back. So I know the iconic status of that property, but now it's in your hands and you are the one who's driving the hotel operations, as it were. I want to understand from you, and well, I hope I understand. I hope I know it already, but for the rest of the people here in this panel, would definitely like to understand how is it that this heritage appeal that this hotel carries, how do you balance it with the ever-evolving expectations of the modern guests?
Thank you for the question, Mr. SONGADWALA. And, for a moment there, you had me worried when you said the next panelist was the oldest in Bangalore. But
Listen, I'm not getting into age demographics here.
But on a lighter note, I think it is a very big responsibility, I always feel, when you work for a property which has such an emotional connect with the people of Bangalore. I mean, it's been in existence for over 4 decades now. It's, seen its own share of luminaries stay, iconic, cinema being shot over here, to playing host to different, heads of state, leaders of industry. And of course, every, Bangalorean that I have met since I've come into the city and taken charge of this property has actually welcomed me to the hotel, saying, welcome to Bangalore and welcome to ITC Windsor. And, I think you just need to step in through the doors of the hotel to understand that you feel like you're stepping into another time. So, I think enough said about the heritage of the hotel, the chandeliers, the grand staircases, those beautiful places where you can, actually enjoy a Regency period high tea and not feel the rush and the, the stress of modern life. It's a great getaway. But yes, our teams are often challenged with how do we marry this timeless feel of, heritage and old world luxury to the expectations of modern travelers. So, if I may, I'm going to step a little away from the brand script and share a little anecdote, because it's something that came to me as we were speaking. So, I recently hosted a great aunt, a grand aunt. So you can imagine she is like in her 80s, and she was staying in the guest room at my home. And sometime around 6:30 in the morning, when I was just, kind of coming to terms with the world and looking for my next cup of coffee, I start hearing all this noise that's coming out of a room. And I'm wondering what this, 80-year-old has gotten up to now. So I knock, and she like summons me to enter, and I can hear like bells ringing and things happening. And I'm wondering what's going on. And then I realized that she has her phone propped up, at the study table. And she's actually attending a religious ceremony, a devotional ceremony happening live hundreds of kilometers away, this 80-year-old lady, right? And, it was such a revelation to me how she's managed to use modern technology to be part of a ritual which is thousands of years old. It's been handed down through the generations. And now that she's mobility challenged, she's able to utilize technology. And actually, it's not really, reduced her sense of devotion, her enjoyment of the ritual, her feeling of being close to whichever deity that the prayers were being offered to at that point of time. And I think that's how, heritage marries technology in today's date. So, the beating heart of our culture, of our heritage, of our buildings, our chandeliers, our carpets, they're all there. But, I think across the ages, all of us, and especially after the pandemic, like Mr. Khanna mentioned, we've all gotten used to technology. So, being part of what we like to think of as India's IT capital, we use technology, we use modern conveniences, we use guest data to try and provide a more personalized experience. But at the end of the day, that touch, that human touch, that warmth, that hospitality, that doesn't go away. So I think, heritage and modern expectations, it's a great mix. Why not? We try and marry it every day.
Thank you.
Nice.
All right, Zubin,
Well-fielded.
we're at the mid stage. We'll take a short 30-second break and I'll come back to you. I can't but thank Diversey for putting their money behind this series. They're actually investing in this industry. They're helping us to carry the message of this industry across the nation and across South Asia. We have viewership coming in from Africa, parts of the Middle East, Southwest Asia, and even parts of Europe. So the reach is there. And Diversey, thank you so much. Zubin, that brings me back to you. And if I may place my second question with you. Tell me, beyond Bengaluru, cities like Chennai, Hyderabad, and Kochi are emerging as key hospitality markets in the south of India. Even though your portfolio is much larger, tell me what trends or challenges unique to these cities are shaping these strategies for luxury and business hotels in the region. I mean, not just ITC, across the industry.
I think that, and like you rightly said, Bangalore is one part of it, but I think Hyderabad currently is way ahead in terms of market performance. It's been doing some tremendous numbers, and it's been pulling some tremendous numbers, and it recovered long before Bangalore after the wretched pandemic that we all went through. So Hyderabad has had a very well-balanced growth and quite a sustained kind of a growth as well. Chennai too, supply that has come in 10 years back, there was about 3,500 rooms that came in 2012. All of a sudden, bang. But the way that the market has absorbed that also has been tremendous. Kerala is one market I think that still remains untapped. And while Kochi has got some great properties now, and we had Sanjay talking about a large conference that he was going to oversee there in Kochi, I think there are things happening. But what are the challenges and what are the unique challenges that we are facing now is that in the cities itself, real estate is just impossible. It's a good prime real estate is just impossible to get hold of. And then when you put up a hotel and the kind of returns that one expects to get out of just a hotel project, a developer is not going to find it that attractive. So then they would look for a multi-use kind of a project to utilize the land, to get their return or get some kind of assured return on land, because unfortunately we have seen the ugly side of downturns in business. We are all going through a boom, touch wood, but everyone knows that it's cyclic. So the challenge today is, I think, getting the right locations in the right cities, finding the right investors and partners who are willing to put their money down and who are willing to believe in your brand. I think that is what the most important thing is, and that's where we as operators have a huge responsibility in convincing and in giving the owners the confidence that their investments are safe when they invest in our brands. And it is at the end of the day, usually, and what we've seen even in Bangalore with just one partner having multiple brands, because they've seen that confidence, multiple brands with one company, that is with the Marriott. They've seen the confidence in the brand and they know. So that is what the challenge is. We've got to build that confidence with our partners to tell them that yes, your money is safe, your investment is safe, it's going to grow, it's going to do well. And if we are able to successfully do that, I think we are going to grow in markets which are also otherwise not as saturated as the other larger cities, but even in the B and C cities as well, coming in and growing your industry in those areas. So that's my take on this, on the South. And I think the South is just one part of the story. Other places are exploding. I mean, other parts of the city as well. The hills are on fire, literally. I mean, no pun intended, but there's so much happening up there. So every part of the country has got a great story to tell.
This is where we realize that our supply has been low. We could have done with much more.
Yeah, and we don't have that much of a pipeline as well, because it takes some time for hotel projects to come about. Because by the time a person has decided to make the investment,
weak-hearted investors because we are talking about thousands of crores which go into hotels, right? So,
And,
yeah,
and a return which is going to take
and a return. Yeah.
longer.
Yeah, but then of course, in the ye dil mange more, India needs much more hotels. So back to you, Zubin. Let me hand it back to you.
So we go back in the same order to Sanjay.
Yeah.
And let's now talk specifically about his property in Whitefield in Bangalore. Again, a micro market that has exploded in the last few years. And I think largest inventory of rooms, largest convention and conference facility in that part of the city in Whitefield. So, I mean, I've operated and run a convention hotel, and that's where I'm sitting at the moment in Chennai. And I know that there are huge challenges in doing that. Now, I want to hear from you, and also for the benefit of the other panelists. How is it that you bring about conventional experience in convention operations? Because you're talking about, and I don't want to use that word in a derogatory manner, but you're talking about masses. You're talking about catering to a large number of people at one time. How do you ensure that that experience remains as seamless for a person who's doing a 50-room conference versus a 50 packs or 50-room residential conference versus a non-residential conference maybe of 2,000 packs? How do you manage that, Sanjay?
Sanjay,
You need to unmute yourself, Sanjay.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Perfect. So Zubin, thanks for asking that question. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle back the same thing what you said, confidence building. And that's really very important because conventions are essentially very large format events, and it doesn't come 1 month, 2 months, or 5 months in advance. These conventions and association businesses, or maybe a big doctors conference, comes at least 2 to 3 years in advance. What is really very important is to document each and every subject which is getting discussed, because predominantly, if I'm handling that convention 3 years down the line, when this entire show comes in picture, I may not be there. Therefore, handing over everything what gets discussed 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the line is really very important. So planning becomes really very important. Confidence building becomes really very, very important, what you also said, because if I compare it to international conferences, which happens probably in Australia or maybe in US, and these conventions and conferences coming over here, people, I feel, might just be a little skeptical, but the deliveries becomes really very important then, So you need to work hand in hand with the organizers of those conventions. You need to work hand in hand with the event organizers, the planners. And there are times that you have to walk the extra path to make sure that if there is any sort of permission or any sort of collaboration with the airport or the airport authority or anything what is required, you should be able to seamlessly blend with those convention organizers to help them to come, bring them to your city. So planning, organizing, confidence building, and working hand in hand is extremely, extremely important to create a large format convention into excellence.
And that would give them the confidence to sell you more confidently going forward as well, and get you more business, I'm sure.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Ronan, technology. Now, I'm sure you must have seen this in different parts of the world, but now talking specifically about your hotel and what your experience has been. How is technology playing a role in guest experience? Because we all know, and at the end of the day, talk personalization, you talk the human touch, you talk all sorts of things. But I'm sure you must be using technology in one way or the other to drive that personalization and that experience for the customer. What is it that you adopt in your hotel with the use of effective use of technology, Ron?
Yeah, so I think we all agree that, and as I said earlier, I think technology is now a trend that none of us can avoid, right? It's not It's not a like to have, it's an absolute necessity. So for us at the JW Marriott GOLFSHIRE, technology really plays a pivotal role in both the guest experience and the operational processes, should I say, allowing us to seamlessly blend, luxury with innovation. So we use tools like the Marriott Bonvoy app to allow guests to a smooth and efficient booking system, and they can check in before they arrive. They can use their app to open the door. And I think that this not only saves time, but it aligns with our guests' growing preferences for tech-driven conveniences, right? As many of us have, we've got CRM tools that track all the guest preferences. It helps us deliver, these kind of tools help us deliver very personalized experiences, from favorite spa treatments to the preferred room numbers. And with this information, we can kind of surprise guests with tailored experiences. At the moment, we have we obviously have TVs in the room, but one of the things that we use is Chromecast, which allows people to stream their own content. Rather than rely on the TV channels that we have,
So those are a few things I'm sure. But tell me, I mean, I've experienced, and I don't know if you've also done that. I've experienced guests who say, don't give me this touchpad control. I want my switches. I want to come to the counter and get my key. Do you still have instances like this, and are you able to adapt and be able to cater to both sets of guests?
Yeah, and I think that's a very, I've got a personal experience of this because I came back from vacation over Christmas, and in the airports now, it's all check-in online. There's always a kiosk, right, to do everything.
Right.
And especially flying to India, you need to show your visa, and it's a little bit more of a process. And if that system doesn't work, it's a real disaster, and it's a reflection of the whole airline. One thing I would absolutely say is that while technology is there for us, we need to remember that it needs to complement, not replace the human touch.
Right.
And I know what you mean about, we obviously people will check in still at the reception desk. They will still have those sort of questions. Technology can handle all these routine tasks, but it's not going to replace the warm check-in, a smile, a personal recommendation. This is really, really critical that we remember that,
But I guess it's different with different age groups.
Yep, you're right. You're probably right.
So just one side story, actually. I was in Hampi over the weekend visiting. I'd never been to Hampi. It's been on my list of places to visit. And if you go into this, the old Vinakshaya complex with all the temples and the stone chariot, they have this temple that makes music, right? I'm sure you know about it, right? This temple that makes music from the pillars.
Yeah.
Right. And they have this thing where they have a QR code underneath the pillars, right? So you can scan the QR code and you can listen to the way the music was played, right? Because obviously nowadays they don't want people to keep hitting these pillars, right? Because it's such an old structure. So I think that's a really great way of taking a unique experience that is the temple in Hampi, and then adding technology to bring it to life for a guest, right? And as Sabrina says, all the generations are able to use these mobile phones these days. So
true. Sandeep, you talked about it, and you said how weekends can be a nightmare, considering that yours is a largely corporate hotel, 526 keys to fill up, etc., etc. But tell me, what is it that you have seen as a trend today among our corporate travelers? I know for a fact, and I'm sure all of you would agree, that our travelers and our guests are getting more and more impatient, more and more less tolerant to us, should I say, failing to provide services the way that we promised, etc. You in your hotel, and you're dealing with, again, clients at all different price points, like you yourself said, at the high end as well as the budget or the not so high end. Anything that you find which is worth sharing, which is unique about these clients and customers?
First unique thing, Zubin, is, I mean, Bhuvi was asking before this session that how do I find the difference between Bangalore and Calcutta. I mean, this is the first time I'm working in a hotel which has got only one segment. I mean, that's corporate. Yeah, and that's very, very unique. Otherwise, you have airlines, you have MICE, you have this, you have that, you have transient, you have leisure. ORR as a market, and I do not know Whitefield. I mean, Sanjay's hotel has got MICE, a huge MICE facility. Otherwise, for us, it is 199% corporate is what we look at, and is very, very unique in the sense that whichever source that the booking would come from, it could be OTA, it could be brand website, it could be GDS, but it's all corporates who travel. So I mean, before I even devise a strategy, it's very important for me to do business right, which is my visibility. I mean, I need to be available. Now, Ronan was talking about technology. You spoke of technology. I mean, and technology-driven bookings, self-booking tool is something which is very, very hot now in our market. People book hotels through the SBT, and they have the choice to choose a hotel. You are RFP on empaneled hotel. That is all what you need to do. Now the booking is in the hand of a customer. Now customer chooses a hotel. He can choose between the 3-4 hotels. Now it is on us to make sure that he chooses my hotel over the other hotels that are there in the vicinity. That puts pressure on us in terms of our delivery, and that is something which is very, very, very huge, because when people travel, they take peer feedback, they take colleague feedback, and that's how this SBT business works. And so of course, I mean, a small thing, if I have to tell you, I have a cell which takes care of a mini department which takes care of office transfers. Now, office transfers at ORR is such a huge thing to send guests to the office and bring them back in the peak traffic, you know, and it is not easy, and it's for people who have not been to Bangalore. ORR will not understand that.
Turn a car around, that's sure.
Yeah, I mean, because people were talking about anecdotes, and if I can fit a small one in, we had a small get-together at Sita's hotel when she was in ORR. We were 5 GMs who were supposed to attend that evening get-together. Only 2 could make it, 3 couldn't reach. And I'm talking about 5 hotels on ORR, you know. So that is what we are talking about in terms of traffic. So I mean, that's the sensitivity. Of course, people work from office as well. So your Wi-Fi, I mean, in between, I mean, as a complex, I have 1000 Mbps bandwidth that's available for the guest to be able to work seamlessly. That's such a critical thing. A good night's sleep, the F&B facilities that we offer. Apart from the corporate, Bhuvi and Zubin, if I have to tell you, there is a very strange segment that this area also caters, which is called relocation. And people just generally would believe that they are corporates who stay for travel alone. We also do relocation wherein people travel with families. So we also have to take care of when the head of the family goes to work, we have to take care of the families, their requirement, their specific, they have to feel at home. They are sometimes, and most of them have infant or small children to take care of. So from a service delivery point of view, we have to be extremely sensitive to be able to cater to the family requirements as well as provide an environment which is very business friendly. And it's all about word of mouth and the colleague and peer and the feedback that you have on the OTA various platforms. That makes our business work. So far has been good. 2024 has been extremely well. So sailing the
all of us need to cross our fingers and no, that's some good insight there. Crazy. I mean, Bangalore traffic is legendary, but unfortunately, there seems to be no
not a
light
very
at the end of the tunnel.
not a very good advertisement for the city, though.
I know. So, Sita, coming to your hotel, you again, like I said, the newest hotel, set up in a very relatively conservative and well-established part of Bangalore, Sadashiv Nagar and those areas close by, which, you know, you've got old-timers from Bangalore who've been living there for years, and suddenly they see one big monstrous building coming up. What is it that you do? And it's so important to obviously take your community with you as you go along. So what is it that you do to, to embrace local culture, community integration, etc., in your day-to-day operations at the hotel?
Okay, so thank you for this question, because local indigenous, being in touch with local community is a very important part of Renaissance brand standard itself. So, so few things that we do very consciously is that we, of course, try and have our vendor service providers who are from local community. Apart from what brand boasts about more than 175 local vendors and very unique. You all can experience this for yourself. There is a website called rfinds.com. Maybe after this call, we can all log into rfinds.com. It's a Renaissance brand shop where you can buy local vendors, creative things, including jewelry to desserts to chocolates to anything that's curated by people who own small business. And all over the world, all 170 plus Renaissance hotels across the world celebrate a day once a year, which is November 19th, which is called the Global Day of Discovery, where each Renaissance hotel is encouraged to look for people, small business owners who create things from scratch. And we very proudly associated with the Riverside Coffee from our very own Karnataka school. And they came over on November 19th. They were here for a curated event where they showcased their many types of coffee. I had a lot of influencers and bloggers who came over, some media presence. And it was a very, very well-attended event. And Riverside was very happy to partner with us. And that is just one brand hotel that we're talking about. And all Renaissance hotels did something. Somebody took a candle maker, some jewelry maker. So we promote the local business people. Then in my previous answer, I spoke about finding talent, musicians who come to sing in our bar. That is something that we very diligently do because we want to help them, give them a platform to perform. What we also do apart from this is that we hire people who are local and who imbibe the culture very well. And like I said earlier, that I believe that one has to embody the brand. And I am also learning the local language. I already speak 2 South Indian languages, but I'm learning Kannada. And it's out of pure interest and passion for being in this part of city. And I can't tell you how well people have received this news, my guests and my clients. And they're all very happy to know this. So
well
as
done.
a
And I know
brand,
some local bodies also who would otherwise
yes, absolutely.
create
It
chaos in your
really
life.
helps.
Yeah.
In your
Sure.
meetings, it sets a tone and it really helps to. It's very empowering to know that. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Well done.
Yeah.
So now we go back to one of the youngest panelists who runs the grand old lady in
Bengaluru.
Bangalore. So, Sabrina, your hotel, you said 4 decades?
Yes, sir.
Long before you and I were born. So,
Huh?
yeah, I'm telling you. So, now here's the thing, and Ronan talked about it when he first spoke, sustainability. Old hotels are built with a design which is, sometimes difficult to change. You're not able to do much. What does ITC Windsor do? And I love this question because it's an opportunity for a plug for ITC hotels. But what does ITC Windsor do to be more sustainable in their business and their operations? And how has ITC Windsor played this part for ITC hotels?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Songadwala. And I think this is one of my favorites for the evening. So, when you talk about the grand old lady, I have a unique flex, which I'm happy to throw out over here, is that I actually have the privilege of working for a hotel that's actually older than I am. So it's been in existence longer than I have. And that means that, it obviously comes with its own set of strengths and challenges. And one of the things that reminds me of it is when I walk down the corridors, we actually have an art gallery and there's an art piece, a caricature made by a Bangalore-born artist, which has this picture of Bangalore as a sleepy little town where there are these, there's Windsor is there somewhere in the background, ITC Windsor is there, there's another building, and then there are all plants and gardens and there's a little bus and it says, Bangalore, a retired person's paradise. And how different are the times that we live in today. So I think the hotel has seen the evolution from those days to this. But sometime through that journey, I think, ITC Hotels has taken its role of environment stewardship extremely seriously. I think someone needs to go on mute, right? So ITC Hotels has taken its role of environment stewardship very seriously. And so it went back, looked at this building that was iconic and said, you know, how can we make it even better? So a lot of things were retrofitted into this old structure to make it into the world's first LEED zero carbon certified hotel. So for those who are not familiar, LEED is actually a certification for leadership in energy and environmental design. So the old building became very new in the fact that it started adopting all of these energy conservation and sustainable practices as a part of it. So we actually, when you come and stay at ITC Windsor, and there are 11 other ITC hotels which can boast the same thing, you actually leave a zero carbon footprint through your stay. And we certify you for that, if you'd like to have the certificate, whether through your events or through the stay in the hotel. And, there's harvesting of wind energy through own resources. There's rainwater harvesting projects which are starting outside the hotel. In fact, we all know the last summers were very, very difficult in Bangalore. And, preserving water became such a big thing. Pools were emptied. A lot of places shut down. And we actually are at a property where we give water back to the environment. In fact, we have green projects around the hotel where we actually supply them excess water. So, there's a lot that the hotel does. Apart from the renewable energy piece, it's always been our objective at the hotel and in the company to use more local resources. Our, elevation of local cuisines and local ingredients is legendary throughout India. I think we carry some of the brands that have really, brought Indian cuisines onto a local stage. And with that comes getting a global experience, but with the use of local talent and local ingredients. Apart from this, I think, we were the first possibly to start in-house water bottling plants. So we have our own branded water bottles that we provide within our property called Shunya Aqua. I know that many other companies have started the same thing now. But this was, as of several years back. And I think, you can never talk about environmental, responsibility without actually talking about giving back into the environment. So diversity and, inclusion is a big part of the property as well. And sorry, time up. Okay.
Sorry.
So that's it.
Now you're getting carried away. Okay. You're going to make all of us want to apply for a job with ITC Hotels.
More than welcome.
No, but I must say, very well articulated. Thank you. Again, you've passed your Viva as far as this subject is concerned. But it's really interesting to see, and I know now for a fact it's become a way of life for all businesses, including hotels. Yeah. It's great. And we are going to be running short of time soon. So let's do a couple of rapid fires. If that's, are we okay with that? Bhuvi, are we okay? Do we have some time for a rapid fire?
Please go ahead.
Yeah. Now, one word answers. Okay, so it's got to be something really thought through. And just for the sake of convenience, no, let's do one thing. Let's turn things around a bit. Let's start from the last speaker first. So we'll go around the other way. Oops. One word. What defines operational excellence for you in the South Indian hospitality landscape?
Warmth. I think that's universal.
Sita?
Same question.
Same question.
Okay, what defines
operational excellence for you in the South Indian hospitality landscape?
Any landscape, I think it will be empathy for me.
See. Lovely, Sandeep.
For me, it's only one word: adaptability.
Adaptability. Ronan?
For me, I would say effortless. Although I think we all know that there's a lot of effort that's required to get to that experience.
To make it as effortless for the guest as possible.
Yes.
Sanjay?
For me, it's not one word, but it sums up to be one word. It's adapting local culture.
Adaptability. Yeah. So because we're talking about this reason, so the southern region. So yep, absolutely. Now I'll give you a sentence and I'm going to give you an opportunity and Sabrina, you've done your bit. So this question is not for you. You've already answered it in more than one way. So if you had to describe your property's unique guest experience in a single sentence, what would it be? So, and I guess you all would understand why is it that I said Sabrina's
It's not going to be a paragraph long.
sentence.
Yeah.
Your hotel, how is it that you would describe your hotel's unique? And I would allow whoever wants to go first, please go for it. Jump in.
I'll make it a quick
Start from
one.
the middle this time.
Oh, well, I heard Sita's voice first.
Yes, so I said I'll make it a real quick sentence. I'll say that locally driven global experience and celebrated by people.
Very nice.
Locally driven global experience celebrated by people. Lovely. Sandeep?
I stick to my corporate business hotel format. Effort that combines efficiency, comfort, personalized service to ensure productive and a seamless stay for customers.
Sanjay, Ronan, your
I think for me, Zubin, it comes from the culture of Marriott International, which is called the take care culture. Take care of your associates, they will take care of your guests, and you don't need to worry about the business as much. So taking care is really very important, be it your associates or be it your guests.
who takes care of you? You got to take care of yourself, I guess.
No, there are definitely more people, you know.
He's into 90 hours work.
Yeah, somebody had to say that. Couldn't resist that. Sandeep couldn't resist that one. Ronan, final words?
Yeah, so I just picked out something from our positioning statement, which was a mindfully curated escape where you can relax your mind, feed your body, and nourish your soul.
Oh, that's
So
a
true
good
for
way
where
to
you
say
are.
that.
Nice one. Nice one. Oh, well, thanks, guys. We are 3 minutes above our time, but I just want to quickly recap and thank you all for your insight. Thank you all for your time. Sanjay, for your insights in cluster management, convention excellence. Sabrina, of course, balancing heritage and sustainability. Old world, new world, well done. And wish you all the best in exploring diverse approaches towards achieving operational excellence at your hotel. Ronan, definitely need to come across once. I mean, I was there for a conference, but have not been able to enjoy the property the way I should be. But thanks for shedding light on your resort and how it stands out in a city which is otherwise known for as a corporate destination, as it were. Sandeep, literally, managing your hotel in the location you are in is a masterclass in dual brand strategies catering to the business segment, as it were. And of course, Sita, it's quite a revelation. What you have shared about the brand, about the crafting curated guest experiences, and also about the way that you have integrated your local communities, arts, crafts, music, talent into your hotel operations is tremendous. So you guys have really shown how Bangalore's hospitality leaders have set the benchmark for operational excellence through innovation and through the way that you do your business. And we look forward to setting higher benchmarks as we go along. Wish you all the best, guys. And thank you so much. Back to you, Bhuvi. Thanks for giving us and me particularly this opportunity. And as a disclaimer, the only reason why you see that I don't have a backdrop is because I don't have any one hotel to stake claim to. So I've kept it backdrop agnostic and neutral, my screen. So thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Zubin, you've been an amazing anchor. You've really added a lot of fun. And I'm sure all our audience is going to take to you and ask for you to be back again. So hopefully soon. You've been a great moderator. I would actually exceed the 10 on 10. But yeah, thank you so much for...
You're very kind. But if you really want to show gratitude, there's only one way of doing it.
I'll come over to your hotel and stay with you. No worry.
No, send cash. That's okay. You don't have to travel yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey,
All right. All right.
revenue.
Yeah. So, as we wrap up the season 3, I'd like to, of course, thank ZUBIN. I'd like to thank each one of you. Let me begin with SITA. SITA, thank you for being there. Our second one together. Sabrina, you've debuted at the BW Hotelier platform with the GM show. Thank you for being there. Sanjay, always fun to have you back. We've had some great meetings. Sandeep, thank you. We have to meet in person soon. Ronan, thank you for being back again. And hopefully we shall see you soon. And yes, this show this year is every Thursday and Friday, 2 shows a day back to back and 4 shows a week. And this is going to be the schedule through January and February. To all our audience, thank you for supporting us. Thank you for the viewership. And yes, last but not the least, Diversity, thank you again. And to my good friend Zubin, thank you.
Thank you
It's
very
off
much.
to you, Bhuvesh, for pulling this
Have a
off.
nice
You,
day.
Thank you very
your
much.
team,
Thanks all.
Ajit, everyone behind the scenes who have made this happen.
Oh, yes.
Well done.
That's what I was coming to. Team BW, thank you, everybody. And Diversity. So we'll just wait for a moment and get on with the Diversity video before we close. Thank you again. God bless you. Till next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bhuvi.